50 millimeters is hands down the most versatile focal length in photography. Before, you always needed a real camera to shoot at that focal length, but that's not really the case anymore. Today, smartphones can shoot at that focal length as well. 50 millimeters is a great focal length for street photography and portraiture. And now, with your smartphone combined with this 58 millimeter focal length smartphone lens from Moment, you can shoot at that focal range. Now, yes, 58 millimeters is not 50 millimeters, but it's pretty much the same range, and you can get pretty much equivalent shots with your smartphone as you could with that 50 millimeter lens on your DSLR mirrorless camera. So let's explore that topic in this video. What's up guys, welcome to my channel John Ferrer, where we talk about photography and videography, everything in between, basically creatography. In my hand I have the 50 millimeter prime lens from Canon, which is probably one of the most widely purchased. Just about every Canon shooter has this prime lens, or at least they should have this prime lens. 50 millimeters is one of the most versatile focal lengths. It's like right there in the middle between telephoto and wide. And it is one of the cheapest prime lenses that you can buy that gives you that level of quality. That 1.8 aperture gives you that nice buttery bokeh in the background. It lets in a lot of light, and all of that is just pure buttery deliciousness for your photos and your videos. And also here I have the 58 millimeter smartphone lens from a company called Moment, which arguably makes the best smartphone lenses because of the quality of their glass and the quality of the material they use for their casing. As soon as I got into photography using my smartphone, I knew that I had to get the lenses from Moment, because right out the box I knew straight up that Moment made the best lenses for your smartphone. Today, smartphone photography is starting to join the world of real photography. Actually, those two worlds, the smartphone mobile photography and real photography, those are starting to blend together, because today a lot of real photographers are starting to use their smartphones for various situations. The quality level of smartphone photography has gone up that much. Before it used to be like, ooh, that photo must have been taken from a smartphone, it looks like shit. Today it's like, wow, that was taken from a smartphone? What? And I love that. I love that you can show off photo and video like that and tell people, hey, this came from my smartphone, man. And people will be like, what? I thought that came from like a real photographer's camera. Well, today, sometimes this is a real photographer's camera. Because it's so small and portable and fits right in your pocket, real photographers are starting to choose that over their DSLR and mirrorless cameras, and that includes me. So in this video we're going to be comparing images from these two. The 58 millimeter lens for your smartphone from Moment, and the 50 millimeter prime lens from Canon for your DSLR. Now obviously this is not a fair comparison, but we are going to be answering two questions when we do this comparison. Question number one, if I don't want to carry this big ass DSLR, will this smartphone with this lens be a good replacement? And question number two is, okay, well, a lot of people will argue that no matter what, the DSLR with the 50 millimeter prime lens with that 1.8 aperture, it's always gonna be better than what a smartphone can produce. then what makes the DSLR with that prime lens better than the smartphone with its moment lens? So without any further ado, let's look at the comparison images and dive right into it right now. Now that we've examined the comparison images between the smartphone 58mm photos and the Canon DSLR 50mm photos, let's answer those two questions that we were trying to answer before we looked at it. The biggest thing that stood out to me was definitely the bokeh. The DSLR images just produced that nice, buttery, delicious bokeh. But also I noticed that, you know, the DSLR images with that full frame sensor produced photos that, you know, just are worthy for like a magazine or for a film cover. It kind of had that dreamy filmic look, and it's just something that is really hard to reproduce from a smartphone camera. Now the smartphone camera images, they just had pop in the photos. They didn't have that depth of field. And I know that iPhones today, the newest iPhones, have that, you know, depth of field adjuster thing that you can do, but man, that's just manufactured bokeh. It's not real bokeh. I just love the natural, real bokeh that comes from a full frame sensor paired with a great lens. You know, the natural optics that create that bokeh, that's what I like. So the answer to question number one, if I don't want to carry my big DSLR with my lenses, just carry the smartphone with the moment lens, would that be a good replacement for the DSLR? Yes, in certain situations. On certain situations, mainly casual situations, I prefer my smartphone, and with the moment lens, I can produce images that are pretty much Instagram and Facebook worthy. But if I'm getting paid and I want to make prints, or I want to edit the photo really deep and well, then I'm going to use my 60 Mark II DSLR. And so the answer to question number two, and I think I answered this earlier, but the bigger sensor paired with that high quality lens combined with the natural optics produces an image that just can't be reproduced from a smartphone. And that's why smartphone companies and manufacturers, they pump all that software into their camera application, because, you know, it's a really small sensor on the smartphone, and, you know, to make up for what it's lacking, you know, with the bigger sensor cameras, the real cameras, it tries to make up for in software. So the, you know, the bokeh background adjuster, you know, all of those features are going to be thrown in that smartphone to make up for what it lacks, which is the overall aesthetic quality, that film look, that magazine level quality look that a quote-unquote real camera can produce versus a smartphone camera. But you know, with that being said, the cameras in the smartphones, the smartphone manufacturers, companies like Moment making these wonderful lenses for your smartphone. The mobile photography world has really upped its game, so much that the lines are being blurred between mobile photography and real photography. For example, you're looking right now at a photo that I took using my smartphone taken a few weeks ago when the cherry blossoms were out. I shot that image with my smartphone and uploaded it to Facebook, and the impression that you would get from that photo is, wow, that must have been taken from a real camera. But you know what? It was taken from my S8 Plus and the Moment lens, and it looked like that. So anyway, that was my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful, informative, somewhat entertaining. But if you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can keep up with my videos as I put them out. And if you want to be notified exactly when I put those videos out, be sure to hit the bell icon and it'll do that. That way you don't want to miss a thing. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Alright guys, so now that I've done something really embarrassing, I will see you in the next video. Peace.
This ain't easy, man.
And it is also one of the cheapest lenses that you can buy with that server. Oh my god. And all of that is just pure buttery deliciousness for your... Oh, and by the way guys, I do have an Instagram page. The link is down below in the description area of the video. So if you want to check out my photography, if you want to check out my Instagram stories, be sure to hit that link, go visit my page, and follow me on my Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you there. Anyway, peace.